Hi everyone, welcome to this Plasticity beginner tutorial, and in this tutorial you will learn how you can create this really cool little action cam concept. And I found this guy here on Behance. You'll find the link in the description of the reference so you can check it out. And also you see it consists of two parts of the camera itself and like this protection stuff. And I will show you how you can very easily just create with the same shape with a little bit of thickness this protection thing. And we will create some little details. So if you're an absolute beginner, this will teach you a lot. So let's dive in. Create a new file. So first of all, delete this cube. And I will not go over every function, you will not need it. In my opinion, it's the best way to learn just by doing. And just to learn what you really need. So just follow along. And as always, I will explain you everything that you need in this tutorial. So go here to the front view. So click, okay, now it's better with the sun. So first of all, let's create this very main shape, right? So first of all, we want this cubical shape. So I don't need reference right now here. So I will just explain now what we will do. So first of all, we will need this big cubical shape. And then you see we have all of this interesting rounding on the edges, which looks, in my opinion, really cool. So we will do that. And then we will add a few little details. So as the camera, little holes and all that kind of stuff. And here's some cuts for the different parts. And then when we have our camera, we will add our protections bumper here. So let's dive in. First of all, you have to create a corner rectangle. Just snap to the middle and drag that out here in 45 degrees, because then you see it will always be the same size. And if you press C here at the bottom right, you see, then you will see it's always the same distance. So we need this, right click, and now go to face mode or press 3 and just select this blue face. And now let's extrude this a little bit. And if we want to go in both directions, just press tab. So here on the bottom right, you see also additional commands and you see tab, lock distances. So just press once, tab, and then you are on the other side. Okay, press 2 again for edge mode. So you have, if you press 1, you're in points mode, edge mode, face mode, and object mode. But we need edge mode, so we can select the curve and delete this curve with X. Very simple, just X delete, right? And now we want to do something very interesting. So if we check here, our corners are round, but here on this longer edge, it's always the same distance. So again, I will just show you how to do that. But if you're practicing, sometimes you just have to experiment, try different things out, and then you will see what you have to do. But here we need a line. So just select this line here and just make it straight and somewhere here. It's not so important where right now. And now we want to bring it exactly to the middle, because you will see we will do something really cool. Because just if you're an absolute super beginner, maybe you might think, oh, okay, I can select those edges and then just fillet them. But you see you are not getting close this result here. So we have to do it a little bit more manual. And again, go to the front view, select this line or this curve and press G for the move command and bring it here to the X-axis and press Ctrl. So you drag that, press Ctrl, so you're snapping it, because now it's exactly in the middle. And now bring it very close here to this edge. And now what we want to do is, let me show it. We want to create a curve which will go something like that, and here at the bottom. And why we will do this? Because then we will revolve. So we will just like, I don't know how to explain it. It's called revolve, but here in the middle we have this axis, and this curve here, we want the same everywhere. So also on the right side, and basically we just want a 360 degree. So we then have a surface, and then we can cut into our block. So it's like kind of concrete, right? we have our concrete block, and then we create a surface, and then with the surface we cut everything what we don't need from that main block. So for that, first of all, let's create, if you go here, you have here a control point curve, and go to this endpoint and drag that out tangent Z. So it has to be straight. Otherwise it will not be look smooth. So just do that. And maybe create a point here and 1 point snap here to the top of this edge. So something like that, we can adjust it a little bit, and let's take the same curve and bring it here to the bottom. Select this curve, press Alt X or here mirror command, so Alt X, and then select this upper one, and because then you see, bam, the curve is the same on the bottom. And now we have 3 separate curves, but we want one curve, right? So edge mode, select them all and press J to join. And now here at the bottom right, so especially when you have like circular shapes and something like that, which is very symmetrical, you often use revolve. So yeah, select revolve, and now just go here to the Z axis, click and drag it just up. And you see, so let me hide for now just our block here for 1 second. And you see now we have created this circle which goes just around here, our middle point, right? So this is exactly what we want. And now go to object mode and select this big block and shift click just on the surface here. Both are selected, and now press Q. So Q is always boolean. So you can add or subtract something or slice, but just press Q. And you see it's red. So this will mean red will just cut into our blue body. So press OK. And now again, object mode, select only this outer piece and press X again. And voila, now you see we have this shape here. And again, it looks a little bit different than this one here. So what you have to do, I'm not doing this here in this tutorial because I don't want to waste your time. But when you will practice on your own, just select those points here and just bring them maybe a little bit in, a little bit out. So it very depends on the setup of the curve, how the shape will look in the end. But just for now, it's absolutely fine for me. And now, so if we go to our reference image back, you see that on this side and on the top side is we have like a cut. So it's kind of 2 separate pieces assembled together, right? And here it looks smooth. So let's create those cuts here. So this surface here is fine. But if we go here to the right view, we want a cut here. So we just want, because right now it's just one body, but we want to separate it. So what we can do is press 2 and let's just take this edge here that we have already and shift select everything. And now we want to duplicate it. So we just have the curve. So press shift D. So shift D is always duplicate. And now you have a curve. So if you bring this a little bit here, you see you have this nice curve. Because now we can use this curve to cut into our body. So I know it's a lot of shortcuts, but just watch my tutorials or my courses or just practice. And the more you practice, the more it will get into your memory, all of those shortcuts. But just press C. C, cut, very easy. So select the curve, press C, and then select this main body. And then you see we are cutting into our body here. Press OK, delete this curve. And now you don't see a lot of difference. But if you go to object mode, you see you can select this inner piece and you can drag that out. And then you have kind of 2 pieces, right? And why we did that? Because now if you go to edge mode, we can now select those edges here. But you see, if you zoom in very closely, you have kind of 2 edges. So you can just select 2 of them. So just drag with the mouse. And then you have here this little gizmo. So let's go to the other side as well and zoom in, and just with shift again, just select those edges. We just need 1 edge to select. And then you see if we drag this a little bit, we get a nice edge here. I know it's not 100% exactly as here, but just to keep things simple and just to explain you the basics here of plasticity. So that looks great. Now let's create a very simple camera here. And again, I'm showing you because we will use the revolve command again. So you just memorize it better. So let's go here to the front view. And by the way, you can toggle between showing those edges and not showing those edges either with right click here, right click on this circle here and then show edges, or you just press F and it's the search command for all the commands in plasticity, and you search for toggle, and then you have here viewport toggle edges, and then you can just press right click and assign a shortcut. So here, viewport toggle edges, assign shortcuts. I have it on Shift E. I just like that. Perfect, because it's very helpful. So now let's create this very simple camera here. Go here to center circle and just snap the circle here to the middle for now and just drag that in and the size that you want. This is okay. And press G again and just bring it into position where you want it. Perfect. Now we could, so if I select this curve and I will just bring it a little bit to the front, we could cut with C again into our body because as you see, we need, just some extra stuff, right? So you could cut it in, but then we would have again 2 extra bodies and it's oftentimes not what we want. So for that, we can just go to the front view, select the curve, and then we can literally imprint this curve onto our body. It's a very, very, very important command. Again, if you search for F and you search for imprint, I have it on Shift 1. It's just very fast to use, but you can just remember that. So imprint that onto our body, right click or press OK. And then you see, you only have it here on the body, but it's still the same object. So we don't have 2 separate objects. Again, select this curve, delete it. And now face mode, we just want to select this piece and we can, drag that out a little bit. So you can, just extrude or do this inside, but let's go a little bit outwards. And then if we rotate here on this white circle, we can adjust the angle. And you see, we can add now this really cool shape. So exactly as our outer shape here of the camera. And now very simple, let's create a curved lens, right? Because this doesn't look at all like a camera, right? So let's create a nice lens, which also be a separate object, because if you render that, you can assign a glass material, it will look more realistic. Go to the front view again and again, create a line, because we need, and what we need now is because we want to create a curve, so we need to find the exact middle of the circle here, so of our circle, we need the middle curve. And then we have to create so let me show it. So then we will take this curve that I just painted, right? So this curve, the middle, and then we will create out of this curve a little bit of a bending. And then what we have to do again, then we have to cut it here 90 degrees. We have to cut it here. So we don't need 1/2 of the curve. So we just need this piece, because then again, we can revolve it around this middle and then you will see, we will get a beautiful rounding. I know, maybe a little bit confused, especially if you're a first timer, but very simple. So we could create a line and try to find here the middle, but you see, it will not be exactly the middle. It will be very hard to find the exact middle, but you can also just select this face here again with 3 and another command. But again, it's very, very important. You always will find it in my tutorials, is if you press F and you search for isoparam. I have it on Control R. So isoparam, just in other words, it adds an extra edge. So select the face, search for isoparam, and then you see, bam, you can just snap to the center and you have in the exact middle curve. Because now we can select this edge and Shift D again to duplicate it. And that's perfect. Why? Because now we want to add this curve, which I told you, right? So the curve is selected and now we want to subdivide it. So kind of if you come from sub-D modeling, we just wanted to subdivide just the curve. So press Shift S. So here, subdivide curve, Shift S. And we have a point in the middle. This point you can select. And press G and just drag that out. And you see, we are getting a nice curve. So kind of a lens. Perfect. And we don't need this edge anymore. So select this edge, press X, and so that we're just working clean. So we have this curve now. And now you see if we go back to our revolve. So again, we want to revolve it around the middle. But if we want to revolve it now in the middle, it's not really working. So you see it's going like very crazy. It's because we just need the radius, but not the diameter. So we have to cut this curve right in the middle. And for that, just create the curve, create a line and snap here to the center and drag this out a little bit and press G and drag that down a little bit. Because now we can use a curve not just to cut into our solid body, but also into our curve. So select the curve first, which you want to cut. And this time it's not C, but it's Shift C. If you would search for it, it's press F and search for cut curve. So I have it on Shift C. So you have to put it on a shortcut because C is just normal cut into a body with the curve. But Shift C is cutting curve because you will oftentimes adjust and cut curves. So select the curve, cut curve, or press Shift C if you have it. And then select the second curve, press OK. And you see they are separate. And you can delete two of them. And we just need this one. And now the magic, if we revolve it again, just snap here to the middle. And so now comes the magic. Again, we want to revolve it around the middle. So select the curve. Select revolve and just drag that like that. Perfect. Because now, so we can delete this curve and delete also this edge. If we hide our main body with H, you see, and let's hide this inner piece as well. You see, we have a nice, simple curve. And now let's give it some thickness without the shortcut. Just go to object mode, select this face, and you can go here, thicken a sheet. So this is a sheet or a surface and you can just select it and then here thicken a sheet command and just drag it out a little bit and press 2 for edge mode here and just select those two edges and just give them a nice little fillet. So if you press Alt H again, you're bringing back everything and that looks great. And maybe just why not? So you can give it a glass material, but let's add like taper this in the inside a little bit. So object mode, select our lens. So double click here, call it lens and press H. We don't need it right now and press 3, select this face and we want to bring it inside. But if you just drag that in, you see we are losing the shape. Or we extend the shape. But if we want to create a new extrusion, we have to select it and press E. E for extrude. And now you see we can bring it in. And again, just rotate this a little bit. So you see we are getting kind of this taper in the middle. So yeah, do something like that. Something very simple. Press OK. And you see we have this kind of nice shape. And if you press Alt H, bam, you have this lens. And yeah, let's delete this curve and we are almost done. And by the way, guys, so I will just show to you how you can create this blue thing without all the details because it's already 20 minutes. But if you want to learn much more about plasticity, you can also go on my website. So just go on nikitakapustin.com. You'll find also a link in the description. And I have a course, a free course, how you can create this Apple Watch. So it's an actual render of the model that we will together create in the course. And it's everything absolutely step by step. So I will also explain how to install and how to set up correctly Plasticity. We will go through the main interface things. Then also I will teach you like the absolute base operations, boolean, on a small practice here. So you're just getting a little bit of a broader understanding of Plasticity. Then we will create this little USB hub as a warm-up, as a practice, and apply everything what we learned in the previous modules. And yeah, I will give you a little bit of more introduction into surfaces. So what we did today already. And then we go here to our main part. It's a few hours, but you will learn everything about the basics of Plasticity, kind of. So you will be able in just in a few hours create this Apple Watch from scratch. Everything is explained. And yeah, here are some results from Oliver. It's just amazing how he rendered that. And look, it's so beautiful. It looks so perfect. And that's amazing. So also below this video, you find this free course. You can just sign up with your name, email, because I will send the access to your email. Or don't do it. You can also watch my tutorials. But in the course, it's the whole process. And yeah. Let's go back here and just create very quickly our outer shape here. And very, very simple. You don't need any shortcuts. Just one small one. Select face mode and just select those faces which you want to give a thickness and kind of this bump. And yeah, first of all, because it is a different object, right? We want to separate it. So again, after the faces are selected, you can press Shift D and then you have this sheet here extra. So let me hide all of those objects. Just press H and you have the thing. And now just go to object mode, select that. And here you have a thicken a sheet. Again, the command the same, right? And just drag that a little bit, give it a little bit of thickness, not too much. Press OK. And now, because, yeah, it's everything hard edged, we want to give it a little bit more of a, yeah, rubber look or something. So press 2 and just select with shift click all of those edges from all of those different sides. Go to this little gizmo here and just give it a nice little fillet. Perfect. And press Alt H to bring everything back. And you have that object here. And you can play around. So try to add those holes and this button. It's basically the exact same process. And check out here my free course. If you don't want this free course or if you have it already, because yeah, we have like now already 3,000 students, I think. Then sign up for my newsletter so you don't miss the Easter special next week. And leave a like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it and see you in one of my next tutorials. Have a nice day. Bye.